We are currently living in a terrifying era of absolute weakness, where pathetic men actively compete to publicly vomit their deepest thoughts and darkest emotions for the entire world to see. Social media has aggressively normalized the toxic sickness of oversharing. You publicly announce your goals, you cry endlessly about your daily struggles, and you arrogantly brag about unfinished plans. You foolishly believe this makes you look authentic and relatable. But in the ruthless, bloodthirsty world of raw power, talking too much is a literal death sentence. When you tear open the doors of your mind for absolutely everyone to inspect, you are not being open-minded, you are actively transforming yourself into highly predictable prey. And sociopathic predators absolutely love hunting highly predictable prey. There is an unwritten, brutal law of human nature: if I know exactly what you desperately want, I know exactly how to completely control you. If you always visibly erupt in anger when you are insulted, your enemies will simply use insults as a remote control button to manipulate your actions. If you openly display your desperate hunger for a promotion, your manipulative boss will hang that carrot in front of your face for 10 years without ever actually giving it to you. A completely open book is a book that is incredibly easy to burn. By constantly broadcasting your true intentions, you are voluntarily handing loaded weapons directly to the exact people who actively want to destroy you. Your transparent clarity is your most fatal blind spot. Have you ever truly noticed that silence always makes weak people feel incredibly uncomfortable? Human nature absolutely despises an empty void. When you remain totally silent, when you coldly refuse to explain yourself, other people will begin to deeply panic and automatically fill that void with their own terrifying insecurities and secrets. They will desperately talk too much, completely exposing their own hidden weaknesses simply to try and break through your iron wall of silence. Absolute silence is not merely the absence of noise, it is an incredibly devastating weapon of psychological warfare. The man who speaks the absolute least, automatically holds the most terrifying amount of raw power in the room. Let your heavy silence completely crush their pathetic, nervous energy. Sun Tzu ruthlessly taught in the art of war, all warfare is based entirely on absolute deception. If you are forced to speak, do not tell them the truth. You must masterfully use thick smoke and blinding mirrors to completely distract your enemies. Throw them a fake bone to frantically chase, while you secretly dig a massive tunnel directly beneath their feet. Explicitly pretend to be deeply interested in a highly pathetic, mediocre goal, so that absolutely no one notices when you are aggressively aiming for the Iron Throne. Concealing your true intentions does not mean you must remain completely mute. It means you speak frequently, but you never, ever reveal what actually matters. Make them arrogantly believe they have figured you out, right before you deliver the fatal strike. Your face is a massive, glowing billboard completely betraying your deepest emotions. Every slight frown, every subtle smirk, every panicked flicker in your eyes are deadly signals that your ruthless enemies are actively reading. You must aggressively train yourself to maintain the ultimate, stoic face. A completely emotionless, impenetrable wall of cold stone. When you are brutally insulted, show absolutely zero reaction. When you are heavily praised, refuse to smile. When you face extreme danger, do not even blink. A completely blank face is an entirely impenetrable shield. When your enemies cannot read your joy or your terror, they have absolutely no idea if their attacks are actually working. Your terrifying, dead-eyed calmness will force them to completely collapse from the inside out. Weak, pathetic men always bark the loudest. They loudly tell the entire world about their massive, grand plans for revenge. They aggressively threaten. They constantly brag. But true, dominant lions absolutely never roar right before they strike. A loud roar only gives the prey time to escape. The absolute most dangerous predators in the wild always operate in total, dead silence. If you truly want to completely destroy an enemy, never, ever give him a warning. Do not give him a single second to prepare his defenses. Let him sleep perfectly well in his own arrogant ignorance. And the exact moment he finally wakes up, ensure your blade is already buried deep in his neck. Talk is incredibly cheap. Lethal, unexpected action is what actually kills. Human beings have a primal instinct to deeply fear exactly what they cannot possibly understand. When you are far too open, you instantly become incredibly ordinary. You completely lose the terrifying power of mystery. But when you keep everything ruthlessly hidden, you become an unsolvable puzzle, a dark enigma. People will desperately project their own terrifying insecurities and fears onto your absolute silence. Your sheer presence will completely dominate the entire room, simply because nobody knows what extreme violence you are actually capable of. You must permanently keep them in a state of absolute, nervous imbalance. Dark mystery generates an overwhelming aura of supreme power. Never, ever explain yourself to anyone. Leave them to desperately struggle in the dark abyss of their own ignorance. The absolute greatest manipulator never actually looks like a dramatic movie villain. He perfectly resembles an average, boring office worker, or a highly friendly neighbor. The ultimate, highest form of concealing your dark intentions is to perfectly blend in with the mindless sheep. Actively appear completely harmless. Look entirely devoid of any massive ambition. Let the loud, arrogant fools fight for the bright spotlight and attract all the deadly arrows of criticism. While they are fully distracted by their own pathetic vanity, you are secretly building a massive, unstoppable empire in the pitch black. Absolutely nobody builds defenses against a man they consider completely ordinary. Invisibility is your absolute strongest armor. Only when you are completely unstoppable, do you finally rip off the disguise. Keeping your mouth completely shut is not merely a dark offensive strategy, it is the ultimate method to protect your own absolute peace. When nobody knows your next major move, absolutely nobody can effectively sabotage it. When nobody knows your deep insecurities, nobody can ruthlessly stab you where it hurts. This brutal world is infested with pathetic parasites and deeply jealous losers who will actively try to drag you down if they see you climbing. By remaining absolutely silent, you instantly sever their entire supply line of intelligence. You aggressively starve them of the data they need to hurt you. Guarding your private thoughts is exactly like guarding the combination to a massive bank vault. You absolutely never hand it to strangers on the street. Starting today, learn to aggressively lock your pathetic mouth shut. Completely stop complaining. Instantly stop bragging. Never let another human being know exactly how you are feeling. You must become a dark, silent black hole, violently absorbing all intelligence while absolutely never emitting a single signal. When you aggressively lock the doors of your mind to the outside world, you will begin to build up a massive, terrifying reserve of dark energy inside. Weaponize that internal energy to train relentlessly in the shadows. Do not tell them you are going to build a massive castle. Just silently build it. And then one day, let your ruthless success and absolute power violently smash them directly in the face. Remain totally silent, and let your devastating results do all the screaming.